conduct a mission to go murder a girl and then die. It's not exactly the healthiest thoughts.
Most criminals' first instinct during a crime is to run. It's human nature, but not Adrian Loya. From the start, he decided escape wasn't an option. What followed was a meticulously planned nightmare. He filmed every chilling moment and poured his twisted thoughts into a 250-page manifesto, a so-called book of revenge. But the true horror of this story isn't in the gunshots. It's in the dark, obsessive motive that took root long before that fateful day. On the night of February 5th, 2015, Adrian Loya's plan went into action. He had meticulously planned every detail. The night before, he took a special pill to cleanse his body. He believed he wouldn't survive the events he had planned, so he wanted to ensure that, if his body were found, it would be in a clean state. Adrian drove 10 hours from Virginia to Lisa's apartment, arriving around 2 a.m. Without wasting time, he set his car on fire in the apartment parking lot. Nearby, he planted a fake homemade bomb on the street to delay any police response. Then he turned on the sound system, blasting the Star Wars soundtrack at full volume as the chaos unfolded. Armed with a shotgun and a handgun, Adrian marched toward the apartment. The first shot blew the door off its hinges, and from there, the shooting spiraled into a frenzy. Lisa Berlanga was tragically struck by 11 bullets. Anna, though critically injured, survived. But this attack didn't happen overnight. It was the result of a deeply twisted obsession.
Like a panic attack. I feel paralyzed. I can't move. It's fucking crazy that I want to conduct a mission to go murder a girl and then die. It's not exactly the healthiest thoughts.
At one of the Coast Guard stations in the middle of the remote Kodiak Island in Alaska, Lisa and Anna met for the first time, and this simple acquaintance slowly grew into a deep relationship. At first, they had to hide their feelings from others at work, but everything progressed so quickly that after a few months, their relationship reached the peak of intimacy and eventually led to engagement and marriage. From the outside, everything seemed calm and problem-free, until a 29-year-old man named Adrian Loya entered the story. Adrian was an IT technician and Lisa's new boss, and through their work collaboration, a friendship began to form between them. They started spending time together outside of work, and Adrian believed they had a lot in common and that he saw her as his twin. He always said that when he was with Lisa, whether at work or just hanging out for a few minutes, he felt better and more at peace. The truth was, this quiet and organized young man, who spent most of his time alone, had developed a strong attraction to his colleague, Lisa Berlanga. But there was a huge problem. Lisa was not only gay, but she was also married. Still, it seemed like Adrian didn't take this too seriously or preferred to ignore it. As time passed, the increasingly close and constant hangouts between Lisa and Adrian outside of work began to worry Anna, Lisa's wife. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that jealousy had started to weigh heavily on Anna's chest. Finally, one day, she confronted Lisa about it and asked her to control this new relationship. Lisa agreed, but in reality, nothing changed. A year passed. One day when Anna was out of town, Lisa asked Adrian to come over to her house so they could hang out and watch movies. Everything was normal and peaceful until the end of the night. When Lisa was drunk, she tried to get closer to Adrian, but he pulled back and pushed her hand away. This made Lisa very angry. She went into the bedroom and locked the door. Adrian stood outside and started talking, explaining himself. A few minutes later, Lisa opened the door, but this time she bluntly offered him a sexual encounter and said, "Don't worry, Anna will never find out." Then she grabbed Adrian's hand to pull him toward her. This moment marks the beginning of this complicated case. Adrian perceived Lisa's behavior as sexual assault, and he left the house that very moment. A few weeks later, he wrote a 26-page letter in which he explained all his feelings about what had happened. He called this letter mental rape. But when Lisa read this long text, the only reaction she had was to tell him she never wanted to see him again. A few days later, that same letter was sent to Anna, but with one additional sentence addressed to Anna. This is when their relationship came to an end. But not for Adrian. He immediately reported the sexual assault to the Coast Guard authorities, but he was mocked. In fact, not only did no one take him seriously, but he also got himself into trouble. The police told him, "You were Lisa's boss. You shouldn't have put yourself in that situation." After this incident, Lisa and Anna moved to Massachusetts, and Adrian was transferred to Virginia with a disciplinary letter. A few months passed. Everyone had forgotten about the strange events that had happened, except one person, Adrian. He believed he had been punished for something he didn't do and had been passed over for a promotion. These destructive feelings made a single word echo in his sick mind day and night: revenge. Finally, in late October 2014, he put his months-long plan into action. The first step was to find Lisa and Anna's apartment address in Massachusetts. After several days of covert operations on Cape Cod Island, he located their home and set up a 12-day spying camp under the trees in front of their house. During this time, he also completed his 250-page manifesto, which he had been working on for nearly 2 years. Since he was a big fan of Star Wars, he named it The Wars of Loya. In this document, he told the entire story from his perspective. Starting from that night, everything began. His relationship with Lisa, and all the events that had occurred after their separation. It's not bad to read a part of Adrian Loya's writing here. Every time you hear about a tragic disaster, they either say it was random, or you never know why the killer did what they did. But here are all the reasons why I did this. Maybe they seem like bad reasons to you, but that's your problem, not mine. If there's one thing America has taught its generations, it's that you must take revenge in the name of justice. I thought a lot about what I was about to do. I wondered if it was just a delusional fantasy that I built in my mind for Lisa. I thought about what I wanted from life, and the only thing I wanted was to see the new Star Wars movie after December, until February 5th came, my birthday. So, I decided that on my 31st birthday, I would take action. My mission is simple. I must somehow face Lisa and finish what I started, and of course, make sure she understands who ended her life and why. On the night of February 5th, 2015, the operation began. Adrian had meticulously planned every detail. He also sent some of his belongings, including toys and memorabilia, to a gaming website called Giant Bomb. Among the items were weapons and Star Wars-themed gear, along with a letter he had written. Unaware of Adrian's sinister intentions, the website published everything, including the letter, just a day before the incident.
All guns are always loaded.
It's true.
Never let the muzzle cover anything you are not willing to destroy.
Absolutely.
Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target.
Uh-huh.
Be sure of your target and what is beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of the audience around you and how easily they can freak out. Hi, Giant Bomb! Just in case you were already freaking out yourselves, I have not sent you an actual gun.
Bummer.
What I have sent you is an airsoft rifle.
Yes. Oh, is there a rifle in there too?
I don't think so. I think you just... yeah. And gear to go with it.
I mean, there's a bunch of magazines in the front of that thing
That's true.
that must go to a rifle.
Maybe. Well, maybe. Got another one here. That's a long one. Much love and beef, Adrian, aka Hyper Aqua Blast on the internet, and Purple Rebel in the field of battle.
On the night of the incident, Adrian drove for 10 hours from Virginia to Lisa's apartment, arriving at around 2 a.m. Wasting no time, he set his car on fire in the apartment parking lot. A short distance away, he planted a fake homemade bomb on the street to delay any police response. Then he turned on the sound system he had brought, blasting the Star Wars soundtrack at full volume as his operation unfolded. Throughout it all, he had a camera strapped to himself, recording every moment of the chaos. Armed with a shotgun and a handgun, Adrian marched toward the apartment. The first shot blew the door off its hinges, and from there, the shooting spiraled into a frenzy.
There's a shooter. My wife and I are both shot.
Do you know who shot you?
Yes. My name is Loya. He shot both of us and my wife.
Is he related to you?
No, he's from the Coast Guard.
Ma'am. And lawyer, the one who shot you, where's he at?
I don't know. Why are you taking so long?
We're on our way there, ma'am. All right, tell me about him. What does he look like?
Don't make me go.
Is he still in the house?
I don't know.
The police arrived at the scene 35 minutes after the attack began, by which time Adrian could have been miles away. However, a local patrol officer in the area heard the gunfire and rushed to Lisa's apartment. Upon arrival, the officer was met with Adrian's gunfire and was wounded in the exchange. Adrian's plan from the start had been to go down in a blaze of glory, dying in a shootout with the police. But when that didn't happen, he chose to surrender. Lisa Berlanga was tragically killed after being struck by 11 bullets in various parts of her body. Anna, though critically injured, was rushed to the hospital and, fortunately, survived the ordeal. Now we can hear the chilling details of Adrian's brutal attack and what unfolded that night in the apartment from Anna herself.
The handcuffs, because Lisa kept asking, "Who are you and what do you want?" He did take the mask off.
And did you recognize who it was at that point?
I did, because she yelled out his name in shock, and so it kind of just both came together for me as well, because I wasn't as familiar with him.
Who was it?
It was Adrian Loya. He's like, "See what you've done to me. You kind of like you're making me do this. Like, this is what I've become, type of, because of you." And she was asking, "What did I do?" or "Sorry." And he said, "It's too late." I just know that she said, like, "I'm sorry, I was drunk. I didn't mean to hurt you." I figured we only have seconds after that to live. I turned to Lisa, "I love you," to which she responded, "I love you too." And we were very close. She was facing me, kind of, and I just turned my head towards her and I kissed her lips, and I remember the lips going numb, or not numb, limp, as if she got really weak. And right after that, I heard a lot of gushing blood, gurgling almost, and she started choking, like a wet cough, and exhaled, and it was a very deep exhale, and I, for myself, knew that she was dead at that point.
I just want to let you guys all know, I'm not going to lie at any point. I'm going to tell all the truth.
Okay.
I'll pretty much plead guilty to all pretty much everything.
You plead guilty to what?
The murder of Mr. Loya.
Are you familiar with that address? Have you been there before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many times have you been there before in the past?
Twice. It's basically assaulted a resident who sexually assaulted me. She asked me why I was there. I told her why.
What did you say to her?
I told her, well, here I am. This is what you did to me 2 years ago. You raped me. And then tried to kiss me. I stayed away. I told her I'm leaving. It looks like she's going to bed now. She's obviously not entirely there anymore. She tells me no, grabs me, puts me to her bed, tells me not to do it. It's not tell her wife, Annie.
Did you ever touch any of your private area? Did you ever touch any of your private area?
Adrian Loya's story can be examined through the lens of erotomania, a psychological obsession where an individual believes they are in a reciprocal love relationship despite clear evidence to the contrary. This delusion often involves projecting their feelings onto the other person, convincing themselves they've found their soulmate or missing half. In Adrian's case, there's also speculation about Asperger's syndrome, which may have played a role. People with Asperger's often struggle to interpret others' emotions and can develop intense, obsessive interests, whether in a specific subject or a person. These overwhelming emotions can distort their mental state to the extent that, in extreme cases, it results in harm to the object of their obsession.
Even though it's not a physical rape, it was basically a rape of the mind.
Adrian Loya's manifesto offers a striking window into his psyche, a reflection of his inner turmoil and distorted sense of self. The title, length, and content of his 250-page statement are emblematic of grandiosity and an unconscious attempt to justify his heinous actions. In this manifesto, Adrian casts himself as the hero of a moral crusade, but in reality, it's a desperate effort to absolve his conscience of the unimaginable violence he inflicted. A closer look at his behavior reveals a narcissistic personality intertwined with maladaptive perfectionism. This perfectionism is evident in the meticulous planning of his crime, every detail orchestrated with precision. For an extreme narcissist, rejection can feel like psychological death. Such an intense blow to their ego can manifest in extreme and destructive behavior, like violent revenge. In Adrian's case, this spiral began when Lisa ended their relationship, compounded by a disciplinary letter from the Coast Guard and his subsequent transfer to another city. These events shattered his fragile sense of self-worth, driving him to commit these acts in a misguided attempt to reclaim a fleeting sense of significance. Let's move on to the trial. Although Adrian himself believed he was guilty and deserved to be punished, his defense attorneys argued insanity and focused on his mental health disorders. They even highlighted his Star Wars collection as evidence of an obsessive fixation to demonstrate that Adrian was not in a normal mental state when committing the crime.
While I was preoccupied at the sidebar, speaking with the attorneys, Mr. Loya turned and faced the jury and mouthed the words guilty and something thereafter to similar effect.
Ultimately, given that the evidence and the defendant's confessions showed the attack was premeditated, the jury rejected the defense arguments. After a 9-day trial, they issued their final verdict. Adrian Loya was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He is currently serving his sentence in a correctional facility in Massachusetts.
Mr. Loya, what do you say to the victim's family?
Very, very sorry.
Adrian Loya's twisted obsession and calculated revenge left a trail of devastation, and it's a chilling reminder of how unchecked emotions can lead to catastrophic actions. If you found this story unsettling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more dark tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. And if you want to dive into another shocking true crime case, check out the video on your screen now.